Earlier this morning in Altoona, Pennsylvania, members of the Altoona Police Department arrested Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old male, on firearms charges. At this time, he is believed to be our person of interest in the brazen targeted murder of Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, last Wednesday in Midtown Manhattan. The suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an employee who then called local police. Responding officers questioned the suspect, who was acting suspiciously and was carrying multiple fraudulent IDs as well as a U.S. passport. Upon further investigation, officers recovered a firearm on his person as well as a suppressor, both consistent with the weapon used in the murder. They also recovered clothing, including a mask consistent with those worn by our wanted individual. Also recovered was a fraudulent New Jersey ID, matching the ID our suspect used to check into his New York City hostel before the shooting incident. Additionally,
I have to pause here. Did I hear that correctly? Did she say that he had the pistol that he used, the firearm that he used on his body? That would be the dumbest criminal ever. I just did a video yesterday saying that if anything, he would be smart enough when he drove off into Central Park that he had a place already to hide this weapon. I think it would be foolish if he actually had the weapon on him, but that part is confusing. Now, they are saying that it was a McDonald's employee here, but I read that they said it was an elder person in another article. I don't know. It's always the boomers, right? I just did a video about boomers too. It's always the old people that have problems with, we got to be morally responsible. We got to be morally and ethically, give it a rest, okay? You're going to retire. You're retired probably. You have nothing to lose. You're not worried about the future, and you're not worried about the younger generation that's suffering at the hands of these big corporate CEOs like United Healthcare. They're not worried. So, of course, they're going to be like, let's get that $100,000 reward. You notice as soon as the reward went up from $10,000 to $50,000, then to $100,000, all of a sudden, they probably had more people calling in tips. But let's finish.
A handwritten document that speaks to both his motivation and mindset. NYPD detectives are en route to Pennsylvania as we seek to interview the subject further. This apprehension is thanks to the tireless work of the greatest detectives in the world.
Oh, God.
And of course, the strong relationships we have with our local law enforcement partners on every level, local, state, and federal. We all serve the same public safety mission.
They all serve the same public safety mission. You heard that correctly. They all certainly do. Guess what that is? They're corporate overlords, the people that said, you better get this solved and fast, because after the first 48 hours, usually cases like this, it gets harder, right? Because the suspect has more room to move around and to go and maybe even leave the country. In this situation, I find it foolish that this man still stayed here in New York. Obviously, he probably had a hard time getting out, especially when you have so many people looking for you. The police department, the FBI, probably everybody, they probably had so many people at their disposal that there was no way he was going to be able to leave New York City. I didn't think he left at all. When they kept saying he was supposedly on a bus, I think it was just some little way to kind of make it seem like he went somewhere to have them go on a wild goose hunt. But I thought he was always in New York, and I thought definitely somebody aided and abetted in his hiding. I thought it was going to get to the point where it gets so desperate that if they didn't find him right away, the NYPD would have started saying things like, we're going to arrest any and everyone who's involved if you're aiding and abetting this criminal, because that's the way they operate. They need their payday, right? These people need their payday. They would never go after anybody that gets killed with this type of vigor. Only rich people. Let's finish this press briefing. Oh, it's so upsetting.
This case, which captured the attention of an entire nation, is another example of how connected we are and how important it is to work together share information, and pursue every lead.
Wow. You saw there, it's important that we work together and pursue every lead. If that was the case, they would be solving more crimes than they actually do. Make no mistakes, the internet is in an uproar about this right now. There are people literally doing cry face emojis, saying, no, Luigi. But I want to show you a little bit of his Facebook because I did go there to go look that up. I was kind of impressed that this young man, he didn't seem to, he might have wiped it. I'm thinking he wiped it. You know, he didn't obviously want people knowing every single thing. He doesn't even have family members listed. So, you know, he probably wiped it and just kept one or two photos that are good images of himself there. And that does seem to look like the suspect. In this one, he's smiling with what looks like a friend or maybe a relative. I don't know. Looks like a nice young man, you know, nice curly, full head of hair there. Has a lot of friends. Looks like he has a normal, typical life, right? It says here, yeah, he doesn't have very many posts. So I'm assuming this young man wiped this page. I don't know what this is, like his name. He found this on a wall. This was back in 2012. This is a really young person too, which is kind of shocking to me. It only makes me think that maybe something happened. I really hope he doesn't do anything or, you know, do anything if he gets put in jail. I hope he tells his side. I think it would be good for us to hear his side of the story on why he did this, why he felt he had to take matters into his own hand, and just really just give everybody what they want. We're dying to know what really happened here. Why were you on a vendetta for this guy? This looks like a young, look at this guy. He has a six-pack here, you know? This looks like a very young, intelligent human being. I don't understand why he did it. But, I mean, at the same token, I'm one of those people that appreciate that, you know, we've got down one of the bad guys. Now, not saying, advocating that we go kill people, but did I cry? No, I didn't cry at all. So, I don't know. You guys tell me what you think about this. I'm heartbroken that poor Luigi, you know? It feels really sad. It's a sad day, but hopefully we get some answers out of this.